I just want a job. If someone can just pay me some money to do any work, that will totally change my life. Unfortunately, this is the mindset of most people in Indian colleges. If this is the way you are thinking, the way you are searching for jobs is completely wrong. Stop wasting your time applying on portals, applying on websites, etc. etc. Stop wasting your time DMing people on LinkedIn asking them for jobs. None of this works. In this video, I'm going to tell you how the job market has changed and the new strategies, the new ways for you to get a job in this era. So before I tell you how to apply for the jobs, you need to understand what the recruiter is looking for. Right now, a recruiter has insane amounts of data from you. 10 years ago, it was impossible for a recruiter to Google a candidate. 10 years ago, it was impossible for a recruiter to see what kind of videos you watch on social media. Right now, a recruiter can search up any profile and see everything they need to know about the candidate. And you have to use this to your advantage. The first thing a recruiter is looking for is the right mindset. Most companies do not hire for skill. Most companies hire for attitude and train for skill. It is extremely easy to train someone Python programming in 2 weeks. But what is extremely difficult is finding someone who has the mindset who can learn Python programming in 2 weeks. And this is essentially the main thing that a recruiter is looking for. So let me tell you 5 ways in which you can apply for jobs and completely stand out from all your other candidates. Number 1, leveraging social media. I can't understand why people have not realized that social media is the best way to get a job. And I'm not only talking about LinkedIn, I'm talking about Twitter, I'm talking about Instagram, I'm talking about Reddit, I'm talking about Discord. Every single social media platform has to be used for your advantage. The job of social media is not to showcase your life. The job of social media is not for you to post pictures that you like posting or post articles that you like reading. The job of social media is to use it with a purpose that helps you achieve a certain outcome. And with this mindset, you have to think of every piece of content that you post on every single social media and see what purpose is it solving. Is it taking you one step closer in getting to a job? Is it hurting your chances because somebody might read what you post and not like your opinion? So when it comes to social media, I have a very simple framework. I use each social media for different things. I use LinkedIn to get people to look at me. And when people see my LinkedIn and see my posts on LinkedIn, they get somewhat intrigued and they're like, okay, maybe this guy knows something. Maybe this guy has some interesting insights. Then from LinkedIn, I funnel people into my Instagram and to my Twitter. And in my Instagram, I share my day-to-day life and all my, I use Instagram to showcase the way I think. I use Instagram to showcase who I interact with, who are the people in my network, etc., etc. And I use Twitter to share my raw thoughts. I use Twitter so that people can get a look into my mind and see what exactly I am thinking. And when a recruiter looks at my LinkedIn, looks at my Twitter, looks at my Instagram, it's almost certain that if the recruiter is looking for a person like me, they will choose me. I have often gone to job interviews where I have been selected without giving the interview. The interview starts by them asking me random questions about how the commercials of the job will work, etc., etc. And the reason for this is because if a recruiter has been following me on social media for like 3 months, they feel like they already know me. They feel that sort of connection. If they're commenting on my posts, if they're reading my comments on other people's posts, they have a feeling that they know me already. And this is very, very good at breaking the ice. I almost rarely have to introduce myself in job interviews. I almost rarely have to explain who I am because it is much easier to explain who you are over a 3-month period of social media posts than to explain who you are in a 30-second job interview. Number 2, never cold DM asking for a job. A very interesting piece of advice that I had once received is that if you ask people for money, all you're going to get is advice. And if you ask people for advice, you're going to get money. So if you're reaching out to someone, never ever ever ask them for a favor. Never ever ever send them your resume. What I would do is I would reach out to recruiters and ask them for advice. Once upon a time, I had set up a podcast where I got a lot of recruiters to, share their advices and insights. And this podcast did not get any views. This podcast did not get a large number of views, did not have an audience. And I've been running it for about 3 years now. But what happened with this podcast is I got in the network of all the recruiters. And recruiters usually know other recruiters. So it was extremely easy for me to connect with a recruiter of any company that I wanted to connect with. So the biggest mistake that people make is that they straight up send cold DMs to people asking them for jobs. Somewhat above average company is getting hundreds of job applications a week. Everybody is being bombarded with CVs, everybody is being bombarded with applications, and nobody has the time to go through them unless they are like a Google and they have a designated HR for this. But any startup is most likely not even going to read your whole message. They're probably going to read the first 3 words and decide it's not worth my time, unless you have a profile that is extremely interesting. Number 3, make professional connects. If you go and ask someone for a job versus if a friend of the recruiter tells them that, hey, I know this guy who's good at the job, the likelihood that you asking for a job will lead to a better outcome is almost 0. If you are referred by someone, the likelihood that you get selected is exponentially better. So I never ask people for jobs. All the jobs that I get are always inbound, and that's how it should be. Number 4, leverage your college networks perfectly. A lot of college students make the mistake of relying too much on college networks. But a lot of college students also make the mistake of not relying on college networks. So depending on which college you're from, you need to have that perfect balance as to how much you rely on your college. If you reach out to someone who is your college senior of 5 to 10 years, there is a very, very good chance that they reply. But if your strategy of getting a job only relies on reaching out to seniors in your college, the likelihood that you get a great job is probably low unless you're from an extremely great college. And number 5, be consistent. Think about it this way. There are millions of people who are searching for jobs every day. They have to survive somehow. They have to eat food. They have to live. Not all of them are going to live off their parents for their whole life. So at some point, everybody's going to find a job. So as long as you don't give up, you're going to find a job. But when you're searching for a job, your goal is not to find a job. Your goal is to find the job. Your goal is to find a job that you like. The goal is to find a job that pays you the amount of money that you feel you're worth. The goal is to not just spend your time taking the first opportunity that comes your way. So when you are talking to a recruiter, you are interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. And if you head into the interview with this mindset, the likelihood that you get a job is far higher. And bonus point, when you enter your job, you have to be ready to quit. You have to be ready to take large amounts of risk. You have to be ready to give it your all, but be okay if things don't work out. The likelihood that you're going to find a job that you like and that pays you the amount of money that you want and that is not completely destroying your mental health is very, very low, especially if it's the first job that you take. So when you enter a job, don't enter it with the mindset of scarcity. You have to enter it with the mindset that, I love this job, I love these people, I'm going to give it my 100%, but if it doesn't work out, it's okay. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Bye-bye.